this is After the Flag, a warm welcome to our post-race roundup of the Griffin San Marino Grand Prix. It was tight, it was tense, it brought action at the start, and a battle of the future factory Ducati lineup at the end as Francesco Bagnaia held off Enea Bastianini for a fourth consecutive victory. History made for Bagnaia and Ducati here on the Riviera of Rimini. I'm Lewis Suddaby. Alongside me to talk you through the key talking points of this Grand Prix is Simon Crafar. Victory in the end for Pecco Bagnaia from 5th on the grid. And it has to be said, this unstoppable force that we're seeing build in this World Championship picture as Bagnaia continues to chip away at the points to Fabio Quartararo, there is no sign at the moment of that momentum halting.
No, I agree. And we're off to, well, if you're talking about future, we're off to Aragon next. And I fully expect him to do some damage there, you know, with that long straight every year, especially to the other title contenders, you know, Fabio. Yeah, he is on form. I mean, he fully deserved it today. Was under a lot of pressure from Maverick Bastianini at one stage and again at the end, and he held up. You know, it was a fantastic ride. It
was a race in the end that proved to be a flat-out sprint pretty much all the way from the end. Of course, we're going to have literal sprint races next season, but this was almost a 27-lap sprint race because the pace was so hot at the front. In the end, it just proved too hot for the likes of Maverick Viñales and Luca Marini, who put in brilliant rides, who we'll talk about in a moment. And it all came down to Bagnaia and Bastianini. In the end, we didn't actually see an on-track overtake for the lead, but there was nothing between them for the entire race. Bagnaia has sometimes made mistakes when he's perhaps had a lapse of concentration in races this season. But Enea Bastianini did not let him rest for 1 second, did he?
No, it was great. I was so pleased that Enea didn't give up after that little mistake. You know, he went, we'll probably see a video later, but he went into the corner, turn 4, and it looked like touched the bottom. He went in harder. He was trying to have a go at Bagnaia, and the rear lifted off the ground. You know, either the front or the bottom were just so hard on the brakes. Came around a bit, he ran a little wide, and that blew, you know, this on the last lap. And I thought, it's too hard to come back from that. And he just went, no. He's got something special, hasn't he? Just no way he wanted to win it. And even with that mistake running wide, he did the fastest lap of the race, 31.8 on the last lap. It was quite awesome.
Like, and he lost a good 0.3 of a second with that mistake as well into turn 4, where he was desperately trying to avoid running into the back of Pecco Bagnaia. It was a mixed start to the race for the Ducatis. Of course, we lost the pole man, Jack Miller, very early on. He did remount and finish the Grand Prix outside the points, but he crashed into turn 4. We also saw Marco Bezzecchi crash out later in the Grand Prix. But that package is just so dialed in at the moment. In the end, Maverick Viñales, who looked perhaps as if he had the pace to go with Bagnaia and Bastianini early on in the race, just couldn't stay with him and ended up being a private Ducati duel.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because it's exactly what I'm leaving Misano feeling, that I could see how good Maverick was riding today. He's completely won me over today. Like, that was a ride and a half from Maverick the whole way. And the thing was, he had the pace. He had the pace to get by and maybe show us, you know, what he really had. But he could not get by. The Ducati, this is how I see it. I could see what he was struggling with. The Ducati drives so well off the slow corners and then brakes in a straight line so well. And at a lot of circuits, like here, that's your overtaking point. And Maverick just can't get the bike past, you know, because his bike doesn't quite stop as well and doesn't quite accelerate the same. And the Aprilia is the closest. The other guys are struggling more. So that's why. And until we get to Phillip Island, where you don't use braking and accelerating, it's just this beautiful flowing. You're not going to see people be able to overtake those awesome Ducatis at the moment.
And they're so good over 1 lap as well, which means that they're invariably locking out. It was the second consecutive Grand Prix, actually, that they've locked out the front row of the grid with a combination of Ducatis. And, of course, Bagnaia coming from the second row to win the race. 4 victories in a row for Bagnaia now, which is no small feat. No Italian has done that since Valentino Rossi in 2008. And, of course, no Ducati rider had ever done that in MotoGP. Are we detecting a greater level of maturity or just a greater level of consistency, or a bit of both from Pecco now?
Well, he's made the mistakes, hasn't he? He's made them all, and he's a clever boy. He's learning from them. He's spoken about that in depth, actually, about how he had to change how he's focusing, you know, like, because he'd fallen off a couple of times while leading and didn't know why. And so he tried to change that, what he was doing, and make sure he doesn't do it again, and he proved he could do that.
He proved ever so slightly too strong today for Enea Bastianini, but just 0.03 of a second separated the beast from a 4th victory of the season. But it is a return to the podium on home soil, 2nd place for him, and he's now giving us reaction to Matt Burt.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. The last 5 Grand Prix now in his home track in Misano. Enea Bastianini has finished on the podium, so close to the win here today, Enea. There's so much for us to talk about. We'll go back to the start of the race. It looked like there was quite an early mistake, or you were struggling with the front tyre in the first part of the race, and there was almost crashing at turn 14, I think, on lap 2.
Yeah, the first part of the race, especially the first 3-4 laps, it's a disaster for me because it was really difficult to put on temperature the tire. And when I see also Jack crash, I understand was a problem also for other guys, other riders. But in the middle of the race, I bring more confidence, and at the end, I think me and Pecco we have make a fantastic pace, and we have bring some gap from other rider. And well, in the last lap, I try with all my potential to overtaking Pecco, but in the turn number 4, I'm go a little bit large. And to close again the gap was too difficult. I've tried again in the last corner, but it's impossible. But I'm happy for this result.
Talk us about turn 4 on that last lap. I mean, how close did that get? We saw your bike go left, it went right, the rear tyre was in the air. It was pretty close.
Yeah, I brake very hard to stay close with Pecco, because in the turn number 6 my traction was not really nice, and it was important for me to stay close. But well, I have committed an error, and it's impossible.
Where were you thinking about making the move on the last lap? I mean, if it wasn't at turn 4, where was in your mind the best place to attack Pecco on that final lap?
For me, the best place was the turn number 11, because I was faster, and also in the last sector with the MotoGP is I think impossible to overtaking again, and was my unique chance to do this, and it's impossible, but it's okay.
And coming out the final corner, Pecco was in the lead, but you got great drive as well out of turn number 16. I mean, maybe if that race was if they moved the finish line another 50 metres, you might
make the best pickup ever, but it's not stay possible to bring this traction to overtaking him. But I made my fastest lap in the last lap, and incredible race with incredible paces, and this permit me to be very happy.
We've had a great week, of course, signing for the factory Ducati team, so close to the win here in Misano. Satisfying as well, I guess, because it's been a long time since we've seen you on the podium back in your race win in Le Mans, so a good platform for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think this podium is really nice for my humor, and also for my future, because my last podium, my last victory is in Le Mans, and to be here today is amazing, and well, we have to continue like this. We know the MotoGP it's really complicated, but we can be fast, and we can do this.
It was a great battle between you and Pecco today. I'm sure there's more to come when you're in the same team next year in 2023. Great job today, Enea. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, certainly much more to come from Enea Bastianini. Love watching him speak, and I also wish you could have seen Simon Crafar's reaction when Enea Bastianini told us what his plan was on the final lap. Asked when he was going to overtake, his plan was Cavone, the fastest corner on the circuit.
Yeah, and what a shame we didn't get to see that because of his mistake. He wasn't close enough to do it. But that's 300 kilometres an hour. And I understand why he thought he could do it, because he would have the tow, the slipstream, if he was close enough. And he thought he was faster and pull out. What a shame we didn't get to see a 300 kilometre an hour overtake for the lead. I've got to say, I think the whole paddock, and especially all of the riders, know that that was a special ride from him. Again, you know, the front save, like we've seen him do it before. He lost the front, you know, lack of temperature, like he was talking about, but he didn't crash. He saved it again. We've seen it. He's very good at that, and didn't fall off. Rode like that, fastest lap after a mistake. I've got to say, what a ride, and I think everybody noticed.
What a ride, and what a rider. Of course, a factory Ducati contract in his pocket for next season. He has been sort of searching for that consistency in what is still only his second season in the MotoGP World Championship, and it's very clear that the factory Ducati team have identified the talent of Enea Bastianini. The talent's been on display in those 3 victories that they've seen from him earlier this season. He's clearly got the qualifying nailed down this season, perhaps in part to the fact that the 21 Ducati perhaps is better over a single lap, and you can only imagine him going from strength to strength within the factory team next year. Yeah,
I'm hoping that it's not an amazing ride here, where he's had 2 amazing rides before we've seen last year, and that he doesn't keep this role going. It's going to drop off, you know, he's early in his career, but it feels like he's gaining momentum, I agree, and factory boys can see it on data, what he can do. He's special.
Well, another rider who certainly has momentum in his 2022 season is Maverick Viñales. Perhaps came into today hoping to give Aprilia a home victory, and it looked as if it might well be on for the first half of that Grand Prix. He finished in 3rd position in the end, 3 podiums in the last 4 races for Maverick Viñales, and he's with Matt.
Thanks, Lewis. Yeah, this man in great form. That's why he's got a big smile on his face. Maverick Viñales, 3 podiums in the last 4 races, and this one a really important one, Maverick, in Aprilia's home Grand Prix in Misano, a track we know that you love. You fought Pecco so hard in the first half of that race. Special to be on the podium here in Misano for Aprilia.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. The last 6 races are going really well. In both of them, I have troubles, but you know, that's amazing. That's amazing. We are achieving good results, good consistency, good performance, especially in the first laps. Today I felt really good. I felt very strong. And I fight with Pecco. I tried to overtake, but I never had the chance. So we need to keep working, but what I have to say, I mean, thank you to Aprilia, thank you to all Piaggio Group, because they are, you know, giving us a lot of motivation. They are pushing so much to improve the bike, and that's what we need. You know, we need to work now. 2 days of tests, it's going to be perfect, no pressure, testing the bike, trying to find something else. And well, I feel really good, so I want to continue.
The 2-day test comes at a really good time because, like you said, you've had a great race, a great weekend, but towards the end of the race, clearly Pecco and Enea were faster. They were able to lap quicker than you. So what do you think needs improving on the Aprilia moving forward?
Well, at the end of the race, I start to lose a little bit of the rear grip. It's something that happened to me also in Assen and Silverstone. But what to say? We need to work. I mean, we are on the podium consistently, and this is because we worked very good on the beginning of the season. So we didn't stop. We continue working, and it will arrive. I'm sure that the victory will arrive, and that's the way. So I'm very happy.
We have to go back 12 months because it was in Misano where you first got to ride the Aprilia RSGP. If we just said to you at the end of that first test, in 1 year's time, Maverick, you'll be on the podium and fighting Pecco Bagnaia for the victory, what would you have said?
You did it, mate. You did it. So somehow I feel very realized that I accomplished the expectations on the project, but we don't stop here. You know, this is just the beginning. And it's time to feel better the bike, to adapt the bike a little bit better for my riding style, and we are going to be very strong. So, you know, we have a lot of confidence, and I want to say really thank you to Aprilia and all Piaggio Group, because in my worst moment of my career, they took me up, and you see now, you know, we are fighting for victories. So that's amazing. That's incredible, and they give me that extra motivation that, of course, I will improve a lot myself.
And next time, Aragon, we know a track where the Aprilia works very, very well, so you can't wait to get there, I'm sure, as well.
Of course, I love Aragon. Most of the time I was in the pole position, fighting for the race, and somehow last year was my first race, and I want to see how much we improve. So I can't wait to be back in Aragon. It's a track I really love, and I think our bike is going to be very strong there.
I'm sure you'll find you've improved by quite a big margin, Maverick. Great job today.
Thank you.
Good to see you back on the podium. Well done.
Yeah, it is quite poignant to see the change or the progress that's been made by Maverick Viñales over the course of 12 months since he first rode that Aprilia. And what I think we're really seeing from Maverick Viñales and Aprilia at the moment, Maverick Viñales is getting rewarded for the faith, the confidence he showed in Aprilia by joining the team. But you can clearly see there that Maverick Viñales is certainly benefiting from the faith and confidence that Aprilia are putting in him.
I completely agree. I said I think it was FP4, that I don't know if I would have had the patience. A lot of other teams wouldn't have. How that they've had Aprilia dealing with Maverick. They've been amazing. Like, he came in there originally not like that, you know, looking at the floor, not looking at people's eyes, you know, like not the same confidence. He was down after everything he'd been through, and that's not, we don't know what he went through exactly, so I'm not judging anything there. But they didn't push him. They just gave him time and said, take your time, literally. Take your time, Maverick. We'll just keep working on the bike, making it better for you. And they've got him to where he is by improving the bike for him. And now he's a proper threat. And yet we know he loves Aragon. Aragon has more overtaking opportunities than here. So I think we're going to see a better fight. But mark my words, when the Aprilias get to Phillip Island, I think they're going to be a proper danger for the top step even.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be a danger in the races preceding Phillip Island as well, but there's no question who the rider is to beat going to Aragon, certainly on what we've seen in the last 4 races and last year at Aragon. It's Pecco Bagnaia, 4 wins in a row and now up to 2nd in the World Championship. Matt Bird is talking to him.
Championship battle now, that was the perfect home race, wasn't it, really?
For sure, the main thing was to win today with in front of all the crowd, and I'm very happy because the pace during the race was incredible. At the start, I think all the Ducati were struggling a bit with the grip, and I feel that Maverick was so close to me, but then I was feeling that every lap I was able to push a bit more, and I was dropping the lap time every lap by 10th. So in the last 5-6 laps, the pace has been incredible, and I was so close, and I needed to push more to don't let me pass. But in any case, I'm very happy because winning 40 in a row was something exceptional already years ago, but I think now is something incredible. So I'm very happy.
Amazing job, as you said. I mean, the pace was incredibly hot. We'll talk about how close it was with Maverick Viñales, because all you would have seen for a few laps was number 12 plus 0. So what were you thinking about Maverick, because he'd shown great race pace all weekend as well?
I did all the race with 0.0, 0.1, 0.2. Apart one lap that was 0.7 with Enea, but it was the lap after already close. I have already closed the gap. So it's incredible how close was the gap during all the race. I was not knowing how many riders were behind me, but I was sure that Enea was close. And then in the last lap, I just tried to do the best possible. I did my best lap time. I just lost a bit of time in the last 2 corners to be more careful, but I'm very happy about that.
I'm sure you've not had a chance to see it yet, but it was really, really close between you and Enea at turn 4. I mean, you knew he was going to try and go for the victory. I mean, did you hear him? Did you get a sense of how close he was at that point?
I feel all the race someone so close to me, so I was already knowing that he was closing. But today I used a different strategy. I was not closing lines. I was just doing the best way possible to be fast. And maybe in some situations this is better because you don't let the possibility to the others to overtake you because you are doing your maximum. So today this strategy was the key for me.
4 wins in a row now. I know you don't like to talk about the championship, but it is down to 30 points between yourself and Fabio, and we're coming to tracks where you've got a great record, Aragon and Japan. So what are your thoughts going to Aragon in 2 weeks' time now?
For me, 30 points are still a lot. So we have to be careful. We have to continue in this way to be focused race by race and session by session. But in this moment, I don't want to think about the future. I was just to focus on the next race and then to be focused on remaining constant and smart in all the situation.
As we mentioned, Pecco, you're breaking records that riders haven't done before for Ducati. 4 straight wins for the first time. The first Italian rider to win 4 in a row since Valentino Rossi did it back in 2008. So long may this great run continue. Congratulations. Great job, Pecco.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks to Pecco there, speaking to us after a 4th consecutive victory. He told us there that he spent the entire race, as we saw, with 0.0, 0.1, 0.2 on his pit board. As a rider, just how stressful is that way? Not only do you have a rider right on your tail, but you can hear him behind you for 27 laps and 40 minutes of racing.
It's stressful. The thing is, it can help you keep your focus. You know, like if you've got a big gap, it's easier to go lose a little focus because you know you're safe, you know, where he had no rest at all. I like that he explained to us that he didn't close the lines, be defensive at all, just do the best lines possible to do the best lap times. It's his best chance, and I really understand that. And we've already said how good a rider he is already and how impressive he is. He's learning, he's intelligent. I don't know how the fans feel, but I really like him as a person and really happy for him to succeed in what he was aiming at today.
Yeah, I agree with that. A good guy and certainly a very good rider. Well, let's quickly rattle through some of the other standout performances, starting in 4th place. And Luca Marini, back-to-back 4th places for him. He's perhaps one of the less heralded Ducati riders. Goes under the radar a little bit, but he's certainly not under the radar now. Yeah,
another great lad that I love listening to. And like I keep saying, slow burner. And I hope you believe me now, you know, because he really is getting there. He's not one of those guys like his brother, jumps on the scene and bang, you know. He just keeps working away. He's very clever, like I said before. And I know this is a home track for him, but I believe that he can stay in that top group. I really do, you know, just a bit more time, a bit more figuring it out. Next year, for example, I think he'll be there regularly.
Certainly looked like he belonged in that company at the front of the race. As far as the championship is concerned, then of course the big move was made by Pecco Bagnaia, but for Fabio Quartararo and Aleix Espargaro, finished in 5th and 6th. From where they qualified yesterday on the 3rd row of the grid, I guess that was about the extent of the progress we could have expected from today, the damage done yesterday.
I mean, from Aleix's point of view, great. Again, you know, he didn't lose points much, you know, many points against Fabio. He's lost a few against Pecco again. But I think that Aleix will be happy enough with today, with the rescue. I'm sure that Fabio won't be happy enough, you know, because I think as a rider he knows that he should have been fighting at the front. But he, like Maverick trying to overtake, I think the machine won't let him here. You know, he's losing too much on acceleration, trying to make it up on the brakes, but you can't brake better than the Ducatis, you know. He's doing all he can. I think he mentioned in the briefing that he's started to not enjoy, well, how do I say it? He said something about he's not as enjoying it as much. And I think he'll really feel like that after this one.
Good standout rides as well in 7th and 8th today for Alex Rins and Brad Binder, 7th and 8th on the leading Suzuki and KTM respectively. Two riders who are really, I guess, outperforming their machinery.
I've got to say, I was really amazed with Oliveira and Binder early on in the race, and the Binder the second half, what a ride. He was like regularly only 1/10 off the leaders. I've got to say, it was a stunning ride, the sort of ride that you expect him to be right there if he had the same level of machinery, you know, the same. So yeah, amazing ride from Brad.
Well, the most special ride of all certainly came from Pecco Bagnaia today. He takes a 4th consecutive victory. My thanks for Simon Crafar for joining us here on After the Flag. If you're watching us live, the press conference is coming right up. If not, we will see you in 2 weeks' time for the Grand Prix of Aragon. What will the next twist be in the race for the title? We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Ramps up and lights out. Good start from pole position by Phil Miller. What a launch by the Australian. Good launch as well by Pecco Bagnaia from 5th. He's already up inside that top 3. Miller leads from Bastianini. Bagnaia's going for it on the inside here as well. He takes the lead in his home Grand Prix on the inside into Quercia corner. Here comes Viñales. That's really aggressive on the inside of Enea Bastianini into turn number 14, the Cara corner. Here comes Enea Bastianini then on the inside of Maverick Viñales. The big move coming from the beast, and he starts to charge towards Bagnaia in the front. Here comes Bastianini. Can he get close enough to attack into turn 4? Oh, he's gone wide. They go through turn 6. That's Bastianini blowing here on the last lap. Francesco Bagnaia surely has this one covered off. Here comes Bastianini. Will he? Bastianini. Oh, how close was that?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the post-race press conference for the Griffin Grand Prix of San Marino here at the Misano World Circuit.